Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For this video, I just got my palette in the mail. This is the, I don't want to show the top because it has a label, but Jeffree Star has his own tape. That's cool for packaging. Of course he does. Why am I surprised? But anyways, this is the Bloodlust palette, and I am so excited to open it and see it. I've never actually had a Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette before. The only product of his I've ever used was this one right here, the Liquid Frost, and this was in Frostbite, and I really enjoyed it. I have used the products that they sell at Ulta, so like the collab with Morphe and some of the brushes, which I don't know if the brushes are Jeffree Star cosmetic brushes or Jeffree Star and Morphe collab, but I do have those items. But this is the first eyeshadow palette I've ever gotten from him, and I am super excited and ripping all the tape off. So let's open the box. Okay, when I open the box, this is what I see, and whoa, adorable. Even the bubble wrap is purple. That's a nice touch. And he's got his own, what do you call that? Tissue paper? Of course he does. And here is the palette. So, all right. This feels pretty weighty. It's really cool that it has this like red detailing on here. But yeah, this is the Bloodlust Artistry palette. Let's go ahead and open it up. Wow, okay. So opening it up, and honestly, like seeing it in person is so much more impressive than when you see it on a video. So I am sorry you're not experiencing this. Hopefully you have your own so you can experience this. But he talked about this little bumper that he had so that it wouldn't get damaged, and this little thing is like kind of torn up and stuff, so I'm wondering if that's just like evidence of how much this was like jostled around in transit. So I'm pretty glad that that was there. So yeah, there's the outside carton, and this is such a pretty purple, and it feels so nice. It's like velvet, and it has these cool like wrinkly effects, so it looks like fabric almost. Well, okay, it is fabric, but it looks like draped fabric, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I noticed one of the YouTubers that I follow had an issue where her star kind of like peeled up. I don't have anything like that. There's no like plastic covering on it or anything, so far so good. On the back, it has information on it. It says Press Pigments, Bleeding Heart, The Crown, High King, Dungeon, Scandal Water, Blood Queen, Wet Jewel, Vivid Mood, Pink Magic, Beauty Sleep, and Betrayal are not intended for use around the immediate eye area. So you can't use any of these. No, just kidding. I'm sure that's just to protect them, because some people can have allergic reactions to pigments, as well as any glitters can sometimes get in your eye. So even ColourPop does that as well. And we use them on our eyes anyways. And then this says like distributed by, and it gives you his website, it gives you his Instagram and his YouTube. And then it says it's 12 months before it expires, it's recyclable and cruelty free. So yeah, net weight is 18 times 1.50 grams. So 18 shades. All right, so here's the little clasp, and oh, okay. It kind of has this like spring thing in it. So if you just hold it like this and try to push it up, it won't open. You have to sort of pry this metal part here. Push it up, see? And there's a little knobby thing right there. So let's take a peek. There's already Dutchy fuzz all over this, of course. All right. Ooh, okay. hey, my mirror looks terrible. Just kidding. Gonna go ahead and just peel that off. Okay. And the inside of this is like, whew. Oh, here's a really thick plastic cover. So this is super strong to protect all these shadows. He did not want any shade, so to speak, on this one. So this whole palette is lined with a fabric. Feels nice. Ooh. Okay, so some of this bleeding heart came off and is already all over my palette. Now, let me just blow on this. Make sure there's nothing gonna fall off. Ah, that sucks. Now it kind of like ruined it. Oops. So, can you guys see that? Right there. Whatever. So I guess that's sort of like a negative about having this fabric, is that your shadow will get on it and it will ruin everything. But anyways, feels pretty hefty. Nice packaging. Opens all the way up, so I appreciate that. And yeah. All right, I'm just looking. Now, if you guys look from this angle, do you see right here and here where this like fabric is not really glued down all the way? Yeah, it's like the only thing that I'm seeing. Not terrible, not great. It's doing it here as well. So it looks like this fabric that they decided to line the cardboard with is just coming up. So that's unfortunate, but all right. So these shades, let me see. What do I think about these? The pans look a lot bigger in person than I thought they did in all the videos, and I've seen a lot of videos on it, but I guess I didn't realize how large they were, so that's a bonus. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and Beauty Sleep is really pretty. It's like this purple. I'm just gonna swatch it with my finger and put it on my hand here. I'm gonna set it down, and I am going in a circular pattern, just very lightly, and that is a really pretty color. I don't know if you guys can really get the full effect. It's sort of like this purpley pink. So it does sort of like 3 different shifts to it, and that's really cool. I like that one. That one's called Beauty Sleep. Woo, nice. And then the new shades that he has are Take the Crown, Wet Jewel, and Pink Magic. So I'm just going to, again, circle around Take the Crown and do the same swipey. Wet Jewel is a very like powdery sort of formula, very pretty. And then Pink Magic. That is what those look like on my hand. And I just lightly touched these and just did one swipe across. So you can kind of get an idea of all the different shifts that they do. I know it keeps like going super, super bright, but you can also see it on my fingers, maybe. Not really, sorry. Okay, so, whoa, I just like smeared these all around and it's so sparkly. It's not picking it up on the camera though. Okay. Apparently I have a cut on my finger too. So what I'm going to do is, you guys have probably seen the swatches by now. If you haven't, there are a lot of videos on them, so I don't want to swatch every single shade, but I will come up with a look that I want to do tomorrow morning, and I'll do something cool with you guys. So stick around, and yeah, I'll do that tomorrow morning. Be like 5 seconds for you. So see you in a minute. All right, I'm back, and I'm just gonna dive in and start doing my makeup as I usually would. I already started putting the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer on my eyes. I've been using this instead of concealer and setting powder, and lately I've really been liking it. I like how it feels. I wasn't really a big fan of having like all that stuff on my eyes anyways with concealer. Makes this whole thing look like super white, and just I feel like a little out of place at times. So I appreciate that the ABH eyeshadow primer doesn't do that, and it blends really well with my skin. So that's what I've been using lately. I'm just doing my face routine real quick. So that is the Too Faced Natural Lust bronzer that I used. Now I'm using the Ofra and Madison Miller blush palette that I got, and I think this is called Squad Goals. I don't remember, but it's from Ipsy. And just doing my cheeks real quick. I don't have too much time this morning, but I figured I'm gonna play around with the Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette, so I might as well let you guys see what I do, and I'll do a different video another time using the palette where I have more time. This is the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive. This also was from Ipsy, and I'm using my Firma 103 brush from Ipsy. I adore these brushes, and I'm gonna get more. Okay, then I just take this brush and I sort of calm everything down and blend it together. Now, I was thinking last night about this palette and the Bloodlust palette. And I think like I was really excited because it's my first Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette, and I had high expectations and I was really excited. But the reality is I'm actually disappointed. I was kind of finding that I was making excuses for like the fabric coming up off the cardboard. But the thing that I've heard so much about Jeffree Star's products is that he is so focused on quality. And maybe this was an ambitious thing for him to do, to put fabric on there. Maybe he always puts fabric on his palettes. I don't know, because I've never had one of his palettes before. But this is the first time that I've received a palette, and it's already been like coming apart and just not high end like I would expect. The fact that the fabric is coming up here, it's like not laid down. You can pretty much see straight through it. Let me see if I can get a closer view on this, but like you can see the cardboard underneath these, and it's not just on like one spot. There's over here as well. And like the fabric itself is sort of fraying. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Have you guys had Jeffree Star palettes before? Is this something that I should be frustrated about? I feel like I should, because it's supposed to be Jeffree Star, you know? Maybe I just had too high of expectations and I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. But maybe I'm being unrealistic, or maybe that happens all the time. Oh. So let me know in the comments if you guys have this palette, if you've had other Jeffree Star palettes. What has your experience been like? I want to know. So I'm gonna do, I don't really see, okay, I was gonna say I don't really see a base shade that I can use, but I'm gonna just use Your Majesty and Monarchy and use those as base shades. They don't match my skin, but whatever. Now, when I use Your Majesty, it's this white shade. And, okay, I'm barely touching this. Why is my camera so blown out? Okay, so, like, I barely touch this, and you can see all of the what do you call that? It's not, I think fallout is when it's on your face, and then there's something else when it's in the pan. I don't know. But that's a very soft shade, and it is being disrupted, and there is shadow everywhere. So I can't tell if it's actually on my face or not because it's a white color, so I don't know. But anyways, I'm just putting this all over my lid, and I'm gonna go into Monarchy, which is sort of like this khaki color here. And I'm gonna put it in the corners as like a transition shade. I did play around with this last night, and I used Betrayal, Wet Jewel, Take the Crown, Deviant, and Scandal Water. And this morning I had staining on my eye, which was covered up by the ABH eye primer, but just keep that in mind. Those are pressed pigments. It does say that on the back. It's no surprise. I wasn't like, oh my god, what is this? But just something to note. It stained a little bit, and they're pretty light shades, so yeah. So for this look, I have about 15 minutes. So, good God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna start with hiking, and I'm using a JS6 brush, and I'm gonna put it in this corner, bring it into the crease. Same on this side. And I'm gonna try to do this as fast as possible, so hope this stuff blends well. So far, hiking seems to be working pretty well. It looks all right. Not having any weird moments yet. Bring her down. Okay, then I'm gonna go into Blood Queen and put it on the corner, sort of back a little bit more from where we just put hiking. And I'm gonna be trying to do like a smoky eye here, of course. It's what I know how to do, and it's quick usually. I'm pretty easy, so sorry, not sorry. This just sort of gives you an idea of the performance as well of these shades and how quickly you are able to put a look down. So a little bit of fallout there. Nothing a fan brush can't handle. Okay, then I'm gonna go into Dungeon. So hiking, Blood Queen, Dungeon. Then I'm gonna go over here into Executioner. In the corner again, just darkening up this corner, sort of, you know, blending all this out. I'm gonna go back into hiking and bring it in a little bit more because I'm running out of space. And I want it to show up and not be totally ran over by all these other colors. So, okay, going back into Dungeon now. Dungeon is such a pretty, like, plum color. I really like it. It's so hard to know, like, if I'm doing these evenly because there's like a white light here and a yellow light over there, and it makes it really hard to tell if my sides are even. So that's why I'm holding up the mirror to kind of reflect that white light. Okay. And now, executioner. But first, I want to blend. So I'm going to take this JS8 brush and just sort of blend these edges. Okay, then we'll go into executioner. This is such a pretty black shade with like these pink sparkles in it. And I don't know how well the pink sparkles are going to show up using a brush. Hopefully they will show up well, but bringing it down underneath. And I'm just sort of like patting as well because, I don't know, I feel like that'll help it sort of. I feel like sometimes blending can, when you go back and forth to blend, you can sort of get rid of the shade that you're putting on, whereas patting will like help it sort of lightly blend in with what you're doing without removing the stuff that's underneath or without fading the color you're using. Plus, with these little pink glitters that are in here, I feel like if I do too much like sweepy to blend, all the pink glitters will disappear. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. Just lightly bringing it into the crease here. Dabbing it where I feel it should be dabbed to be blended, and sweeping where I feel like it's okay to sweep. Now I'm going to take my fan brush and get the fallout out. And then I'm going to go back to the JS8 and blend the edges. And these corners. Okay, I got something weird going on here, but that's because I have a piece of wood in my eye that's like almost 20 years old. It's 20, goodness, 20, 22, 23, 24 years old. Yeah. So my skin right there is a little bit weird and catches the light because there's like a bump. Okay, so that looks pretty good for the amount of time that I have. I would love to spend more time on this, but I don't have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to go into Wet Jewel. I'm going to put it on this inner part of my lid. And this is such a pretty color. Okay. I'm gonna take Beauty Sleep, which is like this purple sort of tone, and I'm gonna put it on the brow bone. It has this really nice duochrome sort of effect. I don't typically like any sort of colored shadow on my brow bone, but I don't mind today. It is what it is. And I'm going to take Wet Jewel and try it with a brush and put it in the corner. Didn't really work very well. So let me try a wet brush. This is just water. I don't know how this is going to work. Works pretty well. It blends really nicely with water, so that's good. Like a lot of shadows, when you get them wet, they sort of resist the water. This is sort of just like taking to it. So I'm gonna add the wet jewel on the inner portion of my eye just to brighten it up as well. This displaces so easily in the pan, so I feel like you'll run out of it probably fairly quickly if you're not gentle. Just something to take note of. Like, I'm usually very gentle with my pans in comparison to what I see a lot of people do, and I already have like a pretty nice divot going on in there, so just keep that in mind. I'm gonna bring this down on the lower lash line and blend it with the shadow that was already down there. I was sort of blending the shades I had up top into my lower lash line. All right, I think that's pretty much it for the shadow. Now I'm gonna do liner and lashes, and I have about 4 fucking minutes. Oh, excuse my language. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, this plastic cover that was on there had 2 layers of protective film on it as well. I peeled those off. Now it's clear. Before it was like this white, almost sort of opaque. I think that's the right one. Opaque film. And it looked kind of weird, but that's what you have to do. You just have to peel those layers off. So, lashes and liner. Here we go. Okay, so lastly, I'm just gonna put on my lipstick. Actually, I don't want to use lipstick today. It's a pain in the butt and it rubs off in like a couple minutes anyways, because I mess with it all the time. So I'm just gonna put lip gloss on. And we're done. So that is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't like super in-depth, but it was really quick look. And yeah, that is the Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette. I'm just gonna spray my face and set it. Final thoughts are just, I'm a little disappointed with the quality of the packaging, to be honest, just because I've heard so much about Jeffree Star. Now, if it wasn't Jeffree Star, would I have been disappointed? Maybe. I don't know. But that's about the only thing I was disappointed with. I love the shadows. Yes, there is a bit of like kick up in the pan, but I have a lot of really good quality shadows that are like that as well. They're just really soft, and you just have to be careful with them. The pigmenting is really good, so I like this look. Overall, I really enjoyed the palette. So, all right, guys, take care, and always remember, no matter who you are or where you are loved, and you are enough. Bye.